What's up guys, and I'm back once again with some more Pokemon Sun and Moon coverage with some more Kanto Mega Evolution speculation. So as always with these videos, I'm just going to kick it straight off, and the first Pokemon we're looking at today is a possible Mega Hitmonlee! So Hitmonlee is a pure fighting type, obviously introduced in Generation 1, it's sort of the pairing along with Hitmonchan, which of course we'll be covering in a second. So what typing would a Mega Hitmonlee would be? So when I was thinking about this, you would assume if Hitmonlee is to get a Mega Evolution, so will Hitmonchan, and so will possibly Hitmontop as well. So I thought about, okay, maybe they could do something with the typing, give Hitmonlee a certain type, and then give Hitmonchan a type sort of to rival, not to rival that, but to go along with it. However, I couldn't think of any types that would make any sense to do that sort of thing. So I've just gone pure fighting here for Mega Hitmonlee, because I can't, what else would you add? Dark maybe? Yeah, sure, but then what are you going to give Hitmonchan to, not to counter that, but to go alongside it and make sense. So really pure fighting is all I can think of for Hitmonlee. I don't want to go too crazy with it, and I feel like a pure fighting Mega Evolution wouldn't be too bad at all. Stat change wise for it, similarly looking at Hitmonchan and Hitmontop, I looked at the sort of the conditions at which they Mega Evolve, or not Mega, they evolve from Tyrogue. So Tyrogue basically will evolve into Hitmonlee if its attack is higher than its defense, it will evolve into Hitmonchan if its defense is higher than its attack, and it will evolve into Hitmontop if the attack and defense are equal. So stat change wise here, I've gone for an attack boost, a speed boost, and a defense drop. Maybe not a big drop, or maybe just staying similar, but having the main focus being on physical attack and defense staying fairly low. This is to build on the idea of, obviously as I said, if Tyrogue's attack is higher than the defense, it's going to be Hitmonlee. So it's sort of it lends the idea that Hitmonlee is this very attacking, very offensive Pokemon and doesn't really care too much about defense. So it would make sense for its Mega Evolution to echo that with the attack boost, a speed boost, and then maybe either defense drop or sort of just staying the same and not having much in defense to give you the idea of having a very high attack stat but also having a very low defense stat. Ability wise for Hitmonlee, or Mega Hitmonlee rather, it could have Limber, which is one of its basic abilities because that would prevent paralysis. Yes, it's not sort of the most amazing ability, but you can't complain for it really, can you? You can't say, oh, it's a bad ability. Okay, it prevents you getting getting paralyzed. So that's pretty good for Hitmonlee, especially because obviously it's going to be full offensive and take a lot of big dishing out loads of damage. If it did get paralyzed, of course that would sort of stub it and you would be useless basically. Another idea is Reckless, which is another of Hitmonlee's normal abilities, which would obviously power up any recoil moves. So this would include some moves that Hitmonlee can use, moves like High Jump Kick and Jump Kick. It gets both of those, and it gets Double Edge as well, but not by a level up method, by a different method. But it's possible to get it. But there are two moves that it gets Stab on both, High Jump Kick and Jump Kick. Those sort of I guess. A High Jump Kick from a Mega Hitmonlee with Reckless with the huge attack boost, that would do a lot of damage, but obviously it would be Reckless because of the the chance for it missing, for example. The final ability I have for Hitmonlee, building on again the sort of the all-out offensiveness of it, is Moxie, which would boost up when you took it at a Pokemon, it would boost up your attack. So it would help with the idea of having a really high attack stat, but obviously then all you need to do is take one or two attacks, and then Mega Hitmonlee would be useless or would be taken out. So it builds on the idea of having a sort of a glass cannon in Mega Hitmonlee. So then if we look at Mega Hitmonchan and sort of have another, not another idea, but another look on it. Hitmonchan, obviously pure fighting again, and as I said, we're going to go for a pure fighting Mega Evolution anyway, keeping them all pure fighting and sort of focus on the stat changes to differentiate them. So obviously, Hitmonlee we had the full out attacking, so Hitmonchan, I had a defense boost, a speed boost, and actually an attack drop here. Not necessarily an attack drop though, but an attack sort of, freeze, not changing the attack stat at all, or maybe going down slightly. This would then lend the idea of, okay, Hitmonchan is the defensive Pokemon of the trio, so its Mega Evolution will work being defensive as well, so it can take a lot of hits, but it can also, Hitmonchan's got a pretty good attack stat in its normal form, so you can only assume that a Mega Hitmonchan would, even if it did have a small attack drop, it wouldn't be too low, it would still be high enough to do some decent damage while having a pretty good defense stat. And in terms of ability for Hitmonchan, I couldn't really think of too many defensive abilities. Like, what are you going to get? Filter? That's not going to work. I really couldn't think of any defensive abilities it could have. So I chose Iron Fist, which is one of its normal abilities, which obviously powers up punching type moves, or punching moves, which makes a lot of sense. It would help out certainly with all its moves and give it an extra power boost whereas obviously the small attack drop, it would balance out really. The attack drop would then be counteracted by the Iron Fist, which means you got a big defense boost for sort of no loss overall in terms of attack stat. And then adaptability is a second option there. Obviously, this power up fighting type moves, to higher stab, similar to Iron Fist, but obviously adaptability would just be for fighting type moves. Iron Fist would be just for punching moves. So I reckon Iron Fist would be a better option. But as I said, I couldn't really think of any defensive abilities for a Mega Hitmonchan, and I didn't really want to give it an offensive ability if I could help it. But of course, this is what I ended up going with. If you guys have any more ideas, feel free to let me know down below. But that's Mega Hitmonlee and Mega Hitmonchan. Next up we have Mega Weezing. So Weezing, obviously pure poison type from Generation 1, seen a lot used by Team Rocket and James and such in the anime. I love this Mega Weezing design just from the start. This huge central one. Obviously now in fact it's got two sort of little ones, and you can see this little fire emblem on the smallest ball, I guess, and that lends to the typing. So typing, obviously it could stay pure poison, or it can become a pure poison fire type. I feel like that'd be a really cool typing to see, because obviously Weezing is based on some form of gas, sort of floating gas. I mean, it's a bit hard to describe it off the top of my head, but I think a poison fire would make sense, because have all this gas coming out of its body, but then some of those gas could be turn into flames, for example. So I feel like a poison fire type would be really cool to see, and it would especially lend it to the ability we'll talk about in a minute. But I would want to see Mega Weezing be a pretty defensive Mega Evolution, having a big boost in defense and special defense. A drop in speed would make a lot of sense, because obviously Weezing it levitates, floats around to begin with, so it's really not going to be that fast, and obviously if it gets bigger in the air, it's going to be moving slower. So a big defense boost, and obviously a decent special attack boost, and maybe a physical attack boost too, to give it some overall decent, pretty good defenses, small attack boosts, and then obviously a speed drop to allow you to put more values into those defenses. And ability wise, I did mention just now, I feel like the only ability a Mega Weezing could have, unless its design changes drastically, is Levitate. I feel like it has to carry across Levitate, because look at it. Well, take this design in mind. What ability are you going to give it? You can't really take away Levitate, because then it just doesn't make any sense at all. So I feel like Levitate you have to carry across to a Mega Weezing. However, if you had the Poison Fire type, that would be a brilliant ability, because otherwise you'd have a 4 times weakness to ground type moves. If you don't, you are immune to that type, and it's just an extra bonus for you, I guess. I feel like Levitate would work. It would work decently well on Mega Weezing. It doesn't really need an extra ability to do something. It would have most of its stats with a defense, big defensive stats and decent attacking stats, and the speed stat isn't really something Weezing thrives off of anyway. So I feel like giving it a good, very high defenses with a speed drop would be sufficient enough. We wouldn't need a necessarily overpowered ability. Levitate would work just fine for it. But then if we move on to another Pokemon, we have Mega Seaking. Yes, Seaking. So not a Pokemon we talk about a lot, because obviously it's not a very powerful Pokemon. However, I feel like a Mega Evolution will work really well for it. Pure Water type Seaking, so what typing could a Mega Seaking be? Well, obviously it could stay Pure Water, or looking at this particular design here, I feel like a Water Fairy type would work brilliantly well for Mega Seaking. I mean, look at normal Seaking anyway. It looks, fairy-ish. It could easily, in a Mega, build on that Fairy type and gain it, and I feel like that would be really interesting to see. Stat changes wise, I would see a special attack boost, because obviously it would have, this Mega I feel like would be really special attacking, have a really high special attack, as well as having a decent special defense boost too. Not like a huge one, but a decent one, as it can take some special defensive moves, and obviously a small attack boost, small speed boost maybe, and then a small defense boost, but mainly in special attack, so it can deal a lot of damage. Ability wise for it, first, it could carry across Lightning Rod, which is one of its basic abilities, which would basically make it immune to electric type moves, but would also, every time it's hit by an electric type move, get a special attack boost. That's even building even more on that sort of special attacking, really powerful Pokemon. Or it could get another different ability, one being competitive, which obviously increases special attack when you're hit by any of your stats are lowered, which again raises your special attack and makes you even more powerful. Or I feel like the last one I thought of was Drizzle. Obviously this would again help it out a fair bit, because obviously then you have all your water type moves powered up as you go. So that was my thoughts there for the abilities. In terms of what would be best for Seaking, I mean, Lightning Rod would work pretty well. Obviously though, not many people are going to attack you with electric type moves if they know you have Lightning Rod, which with Megas, obviously, you know, with most Pokemon, with those sorts of abilities like Lightning Rod, Water Absorb, etc., they're not too bad, because obviously you can never tell which ability they're going to use unless of course that other ability is garbage. Whereas with Mega Evolutions, they only have one ability, so if you see a Mega, you know exactly what ability they have, and it can easily be abused. So I feel like Lightning Rod possibly, but competitive or Drizzle might work a bit better. Drizzle especially, because then you get, you know, this big power up with water type moves. Who knows though? That was just my thoughts. And then the final Mega Evolution we're going to look at today, another water type here, is Mega Starmie. So, Starmie, it's a bit of an interesting one to have a Mega for, because obviously its design is sort of complicated enough anyway. This Mega design isn't my favourite, but it is pretty decent. It's added some extra stuff to it, basically. So what typing would a Mega Starmie be, with Starmie being, you know, normally Water Psychic? Well, I feel like it has to stay Water Psychic anyway, apart from, you know, unless it changes to something like Water Fairy, but I can't really see that too much. Water, yes, you've got to keep the water type because of the fact that it's a starfish, basically. It lives in the water. And Psychic, I feel like it's just the extra thing that makes Starmie Starmie. You know, that's the problem you always had back, you know, with Misty. It always ended up having confusion or something along those lines. You know, made it a bit more hard to beat, for example. So I feel like Water Psychic is the type you have to keep there. Stat change wise, I feel like a decent special attack boost and also a speed boost as well, so slightly different to Seaking. You know, instead of being bulkier, it would have, you know, again, very high special attack stat, but also be really quite speedy and be able to zip around, you know, dishing out his attacks but having low defense in return. And ability wise, it could have Natural Cure, which is one of its basic abilities, which when switching out heals you of any you know, sort of stat afflictions, which would be decent, you know, okay, that's pretty good. If you get paralysed, obviously that's going to snub you out, so then you can switch your Mega Starmie out, pretty good. Or it could have something else. One would be Speed Boost, because I feel like that would, again, you know, building on the speed side of it, you know, have a nice big speedy Pokemon, maybe, you know, a decent special attack, but also have a very low defenses. You can have a defense drop at some point if you wanted to, you know, boost it up, for example. So, you know, Speed Boost would echo well with that, you know, in the sense of being really fast, but also being really sort of weak defensively. Or it could have, and a final ability, here I've listed Special Moxie, so, you know, a special version of Moxie. You know, in the case of, okay, increases your special attack every time you take a Pokemon out, so similar to Hitmonlee we were talking about earlier with Moxie. You know, you manage to take a Pokemon out, you get rewarded with a boost, and you can keep it rolling like that, while also having very low defenses, in which case it actually is, you know, fairly easy to take you out, because obviously if you have really high defenses and Moxie, you could really get rolling quite easily as long as you have a decent, you know, attacks that you get boost after boost and they can't take you out in time, whereas if you have low defenses, and you get the boost, but obviously if something, you know, if you can't quite take something out in one turn, or, you know, they resist or they're faster than you, whatever, of course they can just easily snub you in one or two moves. So that's Mega Starmie there, guys, and that's going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit the like button, and of course let me know your thoughts on these Mega Evolutions down below in the comment section. I'm always interested to see what you have to say. But for now, this is going to be it for me for today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.